I'm done with you, Microsoft. It's finally time for me to say goodbye to Windows and as many of your other products as I possibly can.
But the reality, everyday Windows users are absolutely furious.
This is not cool. And the reason it's not cool is because Microsoft has become an incredibly bloated operating system.
Windows 11 was supposed to be Microsoft's unstoppable next upgrade. But instead, users, businesses, and even governments are rejecting it worldwide. As Microsoft forces an AI-first future, the backlash has triggered a mass exodus to Linux, Macs, and alternative platforms. And in the middle of this global revolt, Bill Gates got destroyed by the very mistake now tearing Windows apart.
Do you ever feel like Windows just keeps getting worse? It's almost like every week they add more bloat, ads, half-baked updates on features that already work just fine, and slide in AI crap where it shouldn't be. Not to mention making it harder and harder to have any semblance of privacy while you use the damn thing.
We're talking about a rejection so massive, it's rewriting the rules of the operating system war, and the cracks are showing everywhere. It starts with the nuclear option. In May 2025, South Korea ordered a full exit from Windows 11, migrating 1.2 million government PCs to a custom Ubuntu-based system called Harmony KR, already funded, trained, and underway. Brazil followed by launching Linux Soberano to replace Windows on 2.8 million government machines, with giants like Petrobras and Banco do Brasil switching immediately.
Why does it seem like everyone is starting to switch over to Linux? And the short answer to that is Windows.
Then, China accelerated its timeline, ordering agencies and state-owned enterprises to abandon Windows by December 2027, moving 62 million systems to domestic Linux platforms. This is not politics or posturing. These governments looked at Windows 11 and decided the risk was unacceptable.
Ruining Windows, okay? It's ruining their keystone product that people use, okay? Microsoft Windows. A lot of people still use it. I don't understand why. I get it if you have a specific task. But, you know, at this point, Mac is just a far better alternative. Linux is great. I mean, just anything that respects you.
Microsoft tried to hide the damage, but the June 2025 earnings call blew it wide open. Windows revenue collapsed 18% year over year, executives admitted enterprise deployments were stalling, and the market responded instantly with a 7% after-hours crash that wiped out $180 billion in value. Wall Street finally saw the truth. This was not slow adoption, it was enterprise-scale rejection.
Mostly ends in October, and, in my opinion, Microsoft's forced migration to Windows 11 has been a complete and total disaster. Windows 11 compatibility sucks.
Behind the scenes, the revolt was already active. Leaked documents showed 83 Fortune 500 companies planning to reduce their dependence on Windows. Some banned Windows 11 outright and began evaluating Mac and Linux for up to 40% of their workforce. When an operating system becomes a liability instead of a tool, corporations do not hesitate. They leave.
Ecological disasters of our time as Microsoft forces tons of computers out of service, generating massive amounts of e-waste. It's also a hugely unnecessary expense for a lot of people. This whole situation just sucks.
Europe didn't hesitate. A GDPR investigation into Windows 11 exposed serious risks around consent, data transfers, and features users couldn't truly disable, with regulators warning of bans, forced redesigns, or full withdrawal from the market. Businesses reacted fast, migrating to Linux to avoid compliance liability. Healthcare followed even faster. Hospitals flagged Recall and Copilot as patient data risks under medical privacy laws, and once legal teams got involved, Windows 11 was done. Institutions began switching to lockdown Linux systems, turning healthcare into another sector that Windows 11 lost completely.
I feel like breaking up with Microsoft and kicking Windows to the curb. For real this time.
Then the developers started leaving, and that's when Microsoft should have panicked. Stack Overflow data showed Windows dev share dropping fast while Mac and Linux closed the gap. This isn't about preference. When developers move, the apps follow, and we're already seeing the shift to Mac and Linux first development. Windows becomes the afterthought, getting late releases or no releases at all. Once that flywheel spins, there's no stopping it. Applications define platform relevance, and if developers abandon you, the platform dies slowly, then all at once.
Windows 11 is honestly a hassle. It's not something that's fun to use. And I don't know about you, but it seemed like every time I logged onto my PC, there were new updates for it. Like every day, sometimes multiple times a day for Windows. I'm like, I just updated you like not even 24 hours ago. How do you already have a new update?
The Bill Gates story is where this gets personal. According to sources close to the situation, Gates walked into a meeting and rejected every incremental fix on the table. He allegedly pushed for a public admission of failure and a complete rebuild, while leadership insisted on staying the course with patches and updates. Whether this meeting happened exactly as described or not, the framing is perfect. Windows 11's strategy created rejection so catastrophic it reached national governments, enterprise boardrooms, and developer communities simultaneously. That's not a bug. That's a fundamental failure in understanding what users actually want.
My laptop is plenty powerful enough to run Windows 11, but Microsoft says no. They say I need to dispose of this one and go buy a new one.
Market share data started telling a story Microsoft couldn't spin. StatCounter trends in late 2025 showed Windows 10 installs rising while Windows 11 fell. This wasn't delayed adoption. This was people making a permanent decision not to upgrade, and some were actively downgrading back to Windows 10 even after trying 11. The message was clear. Users tested Windows 11, decided it made their experience worse, and rejected it completely.
This little Windows just being smashed and nothing happened, it just kind of hurts me because there was a day a long time ago when you would be able to take Windows, press enter, and boom, it just launched. Look at this. Look at how fast that is. That's Microsoft Word launching in a fraction of a second, maybe 0.75 of a second.
Think about that. Millions are paying Microsoft just to avoid using Microsoft's own product. Microsoft's Extended Security Updates program was supposed to force upgrades by making it expensive to stay on Windows 10. The pricing doubles every year, designed to make holding out financially painful. Instead, 47 million users subscribed to ESU compared to the projected 2 million. Enterprises did the math and realized paying for ESU was still cheaper than the migration costs, training expenses, productivity losses, and ongoing friction of Windows 11. They're literally paying Microsoft to avoid their new product, and Microsoft is taking the money because the alternative is losing them to Linux entirely.
Hardware has to meet certain requirements, and if your hardware does not meet those requirements, while technically there are some backdoors and ways around of getting into Windows 11, a lot of the average people out there are not going to know that. They don't want to do that. And so now people will go out and spend unnecessary money on newer hardware just so it can run Windows 11. And now their old hardware will become e-waste, most likely.
Microsoft's hardware requirements triggered a mass lockout. TPM 2.0 instantly disqualified millions of perfectly good PCs from 2015 to 2019, and most users refused to buy new hardware just to run Windows 11. Instead, they chose ESU, registry hacks, or jumped to Linux and Macs, and many went further by downgrading outright. As tutorials and forums normalized reverting to Windows 10, Windows 11 missed every projection, while Windows 10 usage rose, flipping the culture from upgrade now to stay away.
It's tone-deaf, arrogant, and risking real user alienation.
Enterprises that rolled out Windows 11 started rolling it back after documenting operational damage. One law firm case study showed productivity drops, workflow disruptions, forced Microsoft account issues, and Copilot interruptions destroying focus. They rolled everyone back to Windows 10, and complaints disappeared while performance recovered. The lesson stuck. Migration cost doesn't matter if the OS costs you money every single day it's running. Performance regressions destroyed the upgrade value proposition. Gamers documented FPS drops, and professionals in video editing CAD, and data science found their workflows running slower on Windows 11 than Windows 10 on identical hardware. The feeling that Windows 11 was worse became measurable proof that it was worse, and once users see those benchmarks, there's no going back.
Microsoft is spying on you, and it has a ton of telemetry inside of it, and they are serving you ads, and they are forcing a Microsoft account on you again.
The UI regressions added a friction tax to every workday. The Start menu got worse, the taskbar lost features, right-click menus added extra steps, and power user tools disappeared. These tiny annoyances compound into massive workplace costs when multiplied across thousands of employees doing hundreds of actions daily. IT departments calculated the productivity loss and couldn't justify the upgrade.
Microsoft released a bad update. Yes, but this update was so bad that simple things like the Windows button,
Ads in File Explorer and the Start menu, combined with intrusive Copilot prompts, broke user trust completely. The OS started fighting against the user, constantly pushing monetization and AI features that re-enabled themselves after updates. When your operating system feels like adware, people start looking for exits, and both Mac and Linux started looking really good.
But when that same agent is rifling through your personal documents, banking tabs, private photos, and chat history, that's where the nightmare begins. And there are demos on OpenAI of deeper involvement of agents, like completely responding to your emails and making purchases autonomously.
Patch Tuesday turned into a roulette wheel, with updates breaking core features and even killing basic networking, forcing emergency rollbacks. That collapse of reliability shattered trust, especially for enterprises where stability is non-negotiable. And it all traces back to Microsoft's gamble, rebuilding Windows around an AI-first vision with Copilot everywhere, creating privacy risks, compliance disasters, performance hits, and loss of control. They bet the entire platform on AI features nobody asked for. And finally, users, businesses, and governments rejected it outright.